right, this is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today, actually, I'm on Curtis Stone's channel visiting his yard here in BC, Canada.
All right, I've got a very special guest today. That was John Kohler, one of my earliest inspirations when I got into this stuff. Even before I started farming, I was watching John's videos. He was a big inspiration for me as far as food and diet and just growing my own food. You know, I'm doing my own thing now, but John was a huge inspiration for me. He sent me a text message randomly just yesterday saying he was in town. So I did a video with him a couple years ago, maybe even 3 years ago now, that was fairly popular. And he's here now, so we're gonna just shoot the breeze in my garden. All right, I've got my very, very special guest, John Kohler, in the house, in the garden, actually.
I'm really here. This is not a green screen. I'm in Canada,
He's in Canada. Fucking A. So he's here visiting. You were at a conference?
Yeah, a conference up near Vernon. So it's like, I don't know, an hour. It was on the west side of the lake.
Yeah.
So it's about, I don't know, half hour, actually an hour, about an hour from here.
Yeah, it's awesome that you're here because, like, I mean, I went to your place, I think it was 3 years ago or something.
Yeah,
like that.
it was.
And you know what's awesome? I really got to give John a lot of gratitude and credit because the time I came to visit you was when I started to take my YouTube channel seriously. And the day that your video came out, I think I gained 20,000 subscribers.
Wow. No, that video, that's one of my best watched videos, man, so thank you.
Yeah, so no, it was mutual and it was awesome. I mean, John was one of my earliest inspirations for all this stuff. Not so much in the farming space, but when I was first getting into all this, I didn't know that I wanted to farm. I was just like, I wanted to grow my own food. I wanted to say, I wanted to stick it to the man in some way or another. I wanted to do my own thing, you know. So it's so cool that you're here. And it was funny too, because when we hung out at your place, you know, I said to you, hey, if you're ever coming up into BC, let me know. And I'm here. Here we are. Here it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So this has been quite a journey for you, hey?
Yeah.
Over these years.
Big journey.
Where you are now and all the things that you're doing, did you ever imagine that it would get to that place?
No. Oh my God, I never thought I'd, like, you know, be walking at a dollar store and some guy's like, John, I watch your videos. You know, it's just the randomest places.
Have you had some of that here in BC?
Yeah, so actually I was at a health food store. Actually,
Yeah.
the weirdest place was I was in Costco here in town.
Okay.
And I was in Costco and some lady that works there was like, hey, you're the gardener guy. And actually then even like worse or better, I was at a health food store and then some guy recognized me and he just started talking to me.
Yeah.
And then he invited me to his house. So then I went to his house.
You hung out? Great. Oh, that's awesome.
And then he lynched me. No, just kidding. No, and then we had a nice talk. And then he actually took me to some other guy's house that makes fermented stuff, who has an amazing place that hopefully next time I'm in town I'll make a video there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, just connecting, you know, just random.
It's so
really
cool. But like, what were some of your earliest inspirations? Like when you first started doing this, because like we were just talking about this before, but like you've been probably YouTubing around 10 years. Because I've been farming for 9 years. I started watching your video maybe a year or so before. So it's been that long. Like when you first started to get into this, like what was the thought? I'm just gonna inspire people and put up videos, or?
Oh, for making the videos.
Yeah. Because that was probably the path that led to many different directions, right? Your YouTube channel brought other opportunities that you never thought.
On some levels, yes.
Yeah.
Of course. What originally inspired me was the Gervais family, actually. I found their YouTube videos online, or maybe they didn't have any YouTube videos, but they were like covered by news agencies or whatever.
Yeah, they had some mainstream stuff.
Yeah, and I saw that they just lived in a standard residential house and they're growing tons of food and even selling it, which is like amazing. And I was like, wow, this is cool. And then I like tried to dig deeper and find like how they're doing it so I could set up my garden like the same way and model them. And that's one of the things I like to do is, you know, model somebody or follow somebody that's been successful, that's already done what you want to do, and just do the same thing or something very similar so that you will also succeed. I mean, as you wrote books, Curtis, so many people model what you do, and they're uber successful, producing over $100,000 on small amounts of space on OPP, other people's property. But yeah, nobody was doing it at the time. So then I thought, well, hey, I'm just gonna make videos to share what I'm doing with others in case other people are interested. But more importantly, for others, is for me, so that I can remember what I did, you know, where I came from, what I planted that season, how things grew, so I have a physical record. As much as my memory is really good, no one person can remember everything. So I'm really glad now, looking back, that I actually started this.
I actually use my YouTube channel as I go back to go, what did I do at this time? Like, it's been a really good learning tool, a memory tool.
Or even just even Instagram, I take pictures of my garden at certain times of the year when I'm planting out, and I could look back last year, the year before, hey, when did I plant these out? How did I space them? And all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's so valuable. So I mean, that's really why I got started. And then basically, I mean, for the first, I don't know, 5 years or something, I mean, I got some views and stuff, but it never really took off. But then once people started finding me, I guess people started finding me, and then my videos got viewed more, and now I'm where I am today,
Yeah.
And I'm still doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Maybe not as many videos in my garden like I used to, which I kind of miss on some levels.
So that's kind of how you got into all this.
Right.
And now you're doing all kinds of other stuff. Like, you've been a public speaker for a while.
Yeah,
right?
I've been speaking even before I started.
Before you were doing YouTube?
Yeah, before I was doing YouTube. I was teaching about health, So
right.
That's why it got me into gardening is my health journey.
Yeah.
Got me into the next level of my health journey was, hey, how can I make my health better? I'm already eating the best food on the planet, fruits and vegetables, but I can make them better by growing them and growing higher quality and growing a wider variety of them that money literally can't buy.
That's right. And you've got into because you have a separate channel too that's kind of about juicing and raw food and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have 2 separate channels aside from my gardening channel, actually.
Oh, you have 3 channels?
I have 3 channels total.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you keep up with that.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, you're involved in other kinds of enterprises. You have multiple streams of income. You do many different things.
Right.
Did this I guess I'm trying to ask is how did you find those things? Was it just kind of through the journey, and as opportunities came at you, you kind of went, oh, I'll try this or I'll try that? What was that like for you?
I mean, basically my main business is my juicer business. So I sell appliances that allow people to eat more fruits and vegetables, such as juicers, blenders, vacuum blenders, dehydrators, and pretty soon freeze dryers. And that I started actually 20 years ago. So I was one of the first people online. Way. I started that in 1998. Yeah, so that's even before I even made videos. Yeah, so most people don't know. So that's my daily living. And I mean, I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. I started my first business when I was actually in high school doing computer consulting. Then I started making websites, and for a long time actually I'd have my juicer business, and then I'd sell stuff that I'd buy for cheap bought on clearance or find wholesale deals on, and then sell them on eBay to make a living. So I've always tried to do stuff on the side and not work for the man.
Yeah.
So I could have my own free time. And of course, in the early years, I was running my butt ragged. Just working all the time, just trying to pay my bills. Yeah. And quite in debt actually.
Really? Did you have a warehouse space for all that, or are you?
No, I was running it out of my house. So warehouse space is extra money. I'm so tight and cheap. I didn't want to do that. So maybe that's why I'm kind of single, because I have. The house is kind of their living room was a warehouse. It wasn't a living room. We didn't have a place to sit down. We have a family room and stuff, but had inventory in there.
But is there a warehouse now, or what?
No,
is it
there's
now?
no warehouse. Yeah, no.
You're still just shipping it all from your place?
I'm trying to simplify things now. So luckily, since I've been doing this now for 20 years, I have really good relationships with my manufacturers. Okay. So most of my stuff is all drop ship now.
Okay, well that's great.
So it makes it really easy.
That's such a lean type of business.
Exactly. Yes. So my goal is to have more time for me, more time for gardening, more time for my family and wife. Should I find one, or hopefully have one of these days. Maybe you're out there watching.
Yeah, okay.
But so I'm trying to make more time and for time to do what I want to do. I love cooking and preparing my food, which many people may not know.
Yeah. And
it might take me 45 minutes to make my dinner, because I not only grow the food, I pick it and then come inside and prepare it.
Yeah.
And it'd probably nice to have a helping hand to do all these kind of things.
Absolutely. Wow. I mean, geez. So, I followed your channel. I mean, not as extensively as I used to, because I'm busy myself. But you do a lot of, like me, you do a lot of videos in other places. Is that because when you go to those places, you're at a conference? I saw you do videos in Hawaii and places like Florida, or random places. Is that because you're speaking at a conference and you're kind of stacking in videos while you're there? Yeah, so sometimes I travel for conferences and I'm speaking at different places, but actually, honestly, Curtis, most of the time I just find cheap deals to go to different places, and then I just happen to be there. So I like to vacation actually in Florida. I like to vacation in Hawaii. I actually have family in Hawaii. Okay.
And so when I go over there, if I have my camera with me and I'm traveling, for me, fun is going to a farm, visiting farm, meeting people, and actually for me learning stuff. So I'm actually still on my learning journey. I mean, I don't, as much as I have all these videos and know a lot of stuff, you know, I always learn something new every place I go.
Yeah.
So I get to meet new people, hang out, learn a bunch of stuff, and then actually share other knowledge that people, you know, have that I could get to my viewers that, you know, literally people don't put out there. And I mean, I think it's great for people that make videos in their backyard garden, but that's like a really myopic like view of the world, because you're kind of staying in your box. But when I get to travel and see new people growing different plants, different ways, different soil nutrients, and like, you know, learn about different tools. I mean, you're the tool guy, man. You know, it's just really cool. And then I could share that with people to hopefully inspire people to, you know, to tell them what's out there, because a lot of you guys may not travel so much and may not be so lucky to travel like I am able to do, because I live in one of the centralized hubs in the U.S. and get cheap flights pretty much anywhere.
Totally. You probably flew direct here from Vegas, didn't you?
No, so I flew to Seattle.
Oh, okay.
And then
because in the winter there's a direct flight from.
They're
to Vegas.
direct flights, but see, I'm so cheap, I'm not going to do a direct flight. It's like more expensive, so I had a layover in Seattle, which actually I should have stopped in Seattle, because there's people in Seattle I actually want to visit and make videos about.
Yeah, Seattle's got some cool stuff going on. Wow. Yeah, I know, it's so fun. Hey, like being able to soak all this stuff in. I like, for me, it's been one of the fastest, the fastest way that I learned and actually had my farm become profitable is because I started sharing content. And it's like, this is so neat. You and I are kind of switched onto the same idea with mindsets. That's so neat is when you switch onto that abundant mindset idea, you start sharing because you're thinking, first I want to share. You're not thinking about what you're going to get. You're just saying, I just want to share because why not? It feels good to share, and you know it comes back. But like, that's what I experienced when I started creating content, was like, I put stuff out there, and it's like that old saying, if you build it, they will come. Yeah. People just come at you, and then they offer stuff to you and opportunities, and then it's just like, it's amazing. You start with like this sort of selfless act of like, I just want to help people. But it just comes back in snowballs.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been fun to see. I mean, I love it when people come up to me and it's like, I mean, I got hugs from people that like, they say, John, because of your videos, I'm here today. I had cancer, and now I'm on your, you know, your health program and your diet and your juicing and all this stuff. And like doctors told me I don't have cancer anymore. I mean, how amazing is that? Like, what else? I mean, all the money in the world can't pay for a life.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's so, I had a woman come by one of my gardens once, and she told me, it just broke me down, but I had this garden by the hospital, and she told me that like every day she came when she was going to get cancer treatment at the hospital, and she would walk by my garden, and she just said it gave her the most sense of hope, because she saw this young person growing food, and it was just like absolutely spiritually connected with her. And that's like, you can't buy those experiences. Right. You only get experiences like that by putting stuff out there first that people come at you from. And it's just, I wish more people would do this kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, all you guys are empowered. You guys probably all have iPhones. I mean, the camera on the iPhone, honestly, is probably better than the video camera I use to film my videos. So you guys have more technology in your hand than you know what to do with. So just, you know, start putting up Instagram, making YouTube videos to share with others, to like spread the knowledge, you know, that you've learned over your life, to make the world a better place, because sure as hell it ain't happening from the top down.
Absolutely. And I mean, we're in such a revolutionary time because the spoken word can be disseminated so quickly to so many people. Like, there's people in the world who still don't know how to read, but most people can listen. And so the fact that this information can get out to people so quickly and spread around is amazing. Like, we see the negative sides of technology with you know, Facebook and YouTube censoring people. At the same time, there's never been a time, it's a Gutenberg revolution. It's like the printing press, you know. It's like, this has been, it's beyond.
But I mean,
words.
in the Gutenberg times, books were burned too. So.
That's exactly. Hey, but
same thing's happening again.
Yeah, Facebook and YouTube are doing the exact same things right now. You know, that's a whole other conversation. But what's exciting you right now? Like, what are you super stoked on? Is there anything new that like you've discovered recently in terms of gardening or health, or things that are just like, what's getting John Kohler just jacked up these days?
I mean, I'm really excited about like fungal dominated compost. Like, that's super huge. Most people don't know what that is or why it's beneficial. And I mean, I learned about just recently like these millipede castings from Florida, or any millipedes for that matter, you know, eating hard woods, break that stuff down, make a nice fungal addition to your garden that, in my opinion, are missing from most people's gardens that could really help them a lot. So that's really cool. I mean, there's always like, I mean, my freeze dryer. So my freeze dryer, I got a freeze dryer a couple months ago. I don't know if by the time this is out, I don't know if my videos will be up. I've made a lot of content. I just haven't put them out yet.
Yeah.
But freeze drying is like next level technology. Like if you're really serious about your health and more importantly preserving your harvest that you're growing, the best way to make it shelf stable for a long period of time in case something happens, or in case you want to travel. Like when I travel, I brought a whole bunch of bags of freeze dried stuff. So instead of having to get ripped off the prices here at the local store for avocados, like almost $2 an avocado, right?
Yeah.
I got avocados in Vegas where I live when they're ripe, like huge ones for 50 cents. I freeze dried them, and now I'm just eating freeze dried avocados instead of fresh ones, and basically they're avocados minus the water.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm like saving money, you know, and so I brought other foods with me that you can't buy. Also saves me from having to go to the grocery store and shop.
Yeah.
And all these kind of things. So I mean, it's just an excellent way for food storage, for preserving the most nutrients. And the freeze-dried food is, I mean, it tastes amazing. If you guys are addicted to potato chips, right? Potato chips are probably one of the worst foods on the planet because they're fried in oil. That promotes aging. You know, freeze-dried, like cherries, I had that last night for dessert. Freeze-dried cherries are like high antioxidant. They have that nice crunch. Or you could
they're almost like a chip, but with...
Or freeze-dried zucchini. Oh my God, you have so much zucchini grown here, Curtis. Like you could be freeze-drying your zucchini for your little girl. And those are like little teething things, you know? I mean, because they're so soft and they just like melt in your mouth and the texture's amazing. You can't get that like anywhere else with any other appliance. So I'm actually really excited. So like my freeze dryer, it takes about 2 days to run a batch. And then I stop it. I have to, you know, filter the oil. It takes me 7 minutes. And then it defrosts, which could take 2 hours. And then I basically refill it and go again. So it's just non-stop. It's like total commercial quality, non-stop. So that I'm super into.
What do one of those things cost?
Yeah, so I'll be selling those on my website, discountjuicers.com, really soon here. And they're going to run between $2,000 to $4,000. So I mean, it's an investment.
Is it like as big as a fridge? How big is this thing?
Yeah, so the freeze dryer, they're between the size of like maybe like a little bit smaller. Well, it depends. They have different sizes, but I mean, mine's about that wide. It's about that tall and about that deep.
It's kind of like an Excalibur juicer.
Yeah, so it's between the size of like a large 9-tray Excalibur dehydrator and like your dishwasher.
Okay.
So it's right in between there, you know. So that I mean, it's a complicated device. It has like freezing, so it freezes down to minus 40 degrees, and then has a vacuum pump because you have to put a vacuum on it when it's freeze drying. That's the reason why you don't lose barely any nutrients, because under vacuum things can't oxidize, and then it actually has to slowly heat things up while it's under vacuum to pull the moisture out or sublimate the moisture out of the food.
It's amazing how like this technology is enabling like healthier living. And that we can preserve,
and food storage. I mean, for those of you guys that want to do prepping and all this stuff, and or like you, Curtis. I mean, you live here. I mean, I know you grow stuff and pull stuff out of your garden year round. Yeah. And you're motivated to do that. Unfortunately, many people in Canada don't do that.
That's right.
Hopefully, check out the video on my channel because I'm going to cover how he does that. But you could preserve some of your summer harvest, so even you could freeze dry, then eat it in the winter, and you barely lost any nutrition. You did lose the water, so make sure you drink water and stay hydrated when you do eat the freeze-dried foods, because it will be dehydrating, and that's not healthy either.
Yeah, that's right. That's awesome. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go and do a tour on, John's going to tour my farm, and we're going to do a video for his channel. I'm going to link at the end of this video to that video. Maybe we'll synchronize when to publish these videos, and then I'll put one of those, whatever the annotations at the end.
Yeah, sure.
That'll just link to that video, and then boom, people will go right from here to your video. So we're going to go do a tour, but thanks for visiting me, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all the inspiration, John.
Oh yeah, no worries.
All right.
Glad to visit. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.